Welcome back to the Stephen Knight Show. Our guest tonight is best known for her 8 seasons on the hit Showtime show Dexter as Astor Bennett, where she received 2 SAG nominations. She recently completed 2 feature films, Emma's Chance and Anders Manor. Please help me welcome the very talented Christina Robinson. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Definitely. Listen, I was reading about you. You have a very exciting life. Do you feel that way?
Yeah, I mean, I try to do as much as I can. It's like, you got to live life to the fullest. So
You really do. You really do. Well, let's go back to the beginning. I read that you got the role in Dexter. You were living in Orlando, and then you relocated to L.A. to do the job.
Yeah,
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Tell me about it.
Sorry, I was going to say, funny thing about that was I have a twin sister, and Dexter was actually her audition. I wasn't even supposed to be there. Yeah, I mean, we're 7 years old, and my sister, I happened to go with her, and they saw me sitting there and was like, you're the same age. Would you want to audition too? And my mom was like, do it. And I was like, okay, I'm 7 years old. I don't know what in the world I'm doing. And I booked it, which is crazy.
Wow. So was your sister mad at you?
Of course. Of course, especially being that age and growing up, I got to start, missing school so many days, and she had to be in school. So.
Yeah, so you did 8 seasons on there. So you were about, 15, 16 when it was over?
Yeah, I think 15 is right.
Yeah. So, well, first of all, the 2 SAG nominations, congratulations on that. Did you even know what that meant when you were being nominated?
No idea.
Yeah.
Not really. I just remember going to the awards both years, and it was such a really cool experience to be walking the carpet with all those people and getting all that free stuff, being that age. It was oh, this is so cool. And it's now I think about it, and it's holy cow.
Right. I did that.
I am so lucky to have even been there,
Yeah, I can imagine. So how was it you kind of grew up on set, with the cast. How was it working? Do you remember those years? How was it working with them and kind of
Yeah, I mean, I really did grow up on the show. I started when I was 7, and it really kind of grew into this family kind of environment, where everyone knew each other, and we would always film at, the same studios, Gower Studios in Hollywood, and I don't know, it's I never really knew what the show was about growing up. I would just know them as, people I was working with. And then I think when I was about 13, my parents finally told me, this is really what the show's about. Your dad's a serial killer, and, you can watch it maybe in a couple of years.
Right.
But, yeah, I mean, the experience itself was just so incredible. I'm doing films and stuff right now, but, working on a TV show, it's just such a different kind of environment. And
I can imagine. And then doing it for 8 seasons. I mean, I'm sure that you form a bond with these people. Do you all still keep in touch?
To an extent. It's I was also the kid on the show of adult.
Right, yeah.
So it's not hey, let's go kick it. It was, hey, let's go grab a sandwich in the food truck kind of thing. But, yeah.
So when the 8 seasons was over, they were over, did you know what your next move was going to be? I mean, what's going through your, and obviously you're still young then, but what are you thinking, what's my next step?
I mean, by the time the show was over, I was definitely more in my mindset about, what I wanted to do and what steps I needed to take to do it. And it was really a weird place to be in right after, I finally filmed, my final episode, and it was I went home that day and I was sitting on my bed, and I was just what's next?
Right.
It was just I've been falling back on this for so long, and now it's wow, this is a different place to be in.
Yeah, exactly. What did you do right after?
I started focusing on school a lot more because I was missing a lot, and doing school I did about 15 short films, and then I was just traveling with my family a little, and I don't know, I kind of just took a break from doing it. And then within the past, I think it's been 3 years, I've really got back into it, doing films currently.
Right.
So, yeah. One of them was a film called Emma's Chance. No, you're good. One of them was a film called Emma's Chance. It's a really cute family movie about horses, and it's based on a true story. Really great cast. Missy Pyle, Greer Grammer, Joey Lawrence. There's a lot of fun to do. And then my most recent comes out. It's called Anders Manor. It's a horror. I starred in it, and it comes out, I believe it's next month or April.
Okay.
And that one I'm super excited for, but it's also scary because the whole film I'm just like screaming and crying, and it's just going to be weird to watch.
So I love horror movies. I love horror movies. I'm wondering, when you're actually on set doing all the hollering and screaming, I mean, do you feel like you're in that moment? I'm sure you know it's not real what's going on, but do you feel like you're in that moment of that character?
Funny thing about this film is that it's called Anders Manor, and we actually filmed and slept in the entirety of filming at this manor.
Oh,
so
wow.
We spent, like 3 weeks at this manor, and I truly believe it's haunted. So it was just not the most pleasant of places to be, but, well, just for me, because it just spooks me out. And, but it also, like, my character is psychotic, so it really did add to the environment.
And, one thing I thought was interesting and fascinating really about you is that you would think, I've been on this hit show for 8 seasons. I don't need to go back to school. I can just go on to other roles, which you obviously did. But what was it that made you decide that I want to go back and further my education as it relates to this field?
What made me want to go back into it?
Go back to school to continue
go back
study.
to school. I mean, it was also kind of in this place of I didn't know what's next, so I was like, what else can I focus on?
Okay.
And it was, I knew, like, my parents raised me in a way that, education is super important, so I was like, I really do need to buckle down. So I did.
Yeah. Well, outside of your acting career, I mean, you're about to do some work in Africa in March, late March, with an orphanage. Can you talk about that?
Yeah. So actually, I have a twin. I said I have a twin sister. She goes to Penn State, and she's currently in Africa with her school. And when she told me she was going to go on this trip, I was like, I want to go somewhere. Like I want to be able to do something. And I started researching volunteer programs all over the world. And through this program called IVHQ, they have programs all over the world that I just fell in love with the Zambia Africa program, which is where you stay there for however many weeks you decide to, and you can either do, their environmental program and work, with that kind of thing, and then you can also do their teaching program, which is what I decided to do because I thought I could make the most impact teaching. And so I'm going to be teaching preschool and kindergarten to a small orphanage for about 2 months.
Wow. And how do you prepare for that?
I think it's really a mental thing, and getting ready for that change. I think going through something like that, and I'm gonna come back a whole new person.
Oh yeah.
It's gonna be so humbling and so eye-opening to even just see that kind of way of life, let alone live it. So. And
then last summer you backpacked through Europe. I mean. Yeah. I mean, I'll tell you, this woman, you do a lot of great things. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I mean, the Europe thing was super random. My sister had planned it. I always feel like I join my sister doing trips. My sister had planned this, and I thought I was going to be shooting a movie during the time she was going, and I found out I wasn't about a week prior to her going, and I was like, I have to go. And so a week prior, I literally booked a ticket, got a backpack, started packing, and I left with her, and we went through France, Italy, Spain, Greece, Switzerland, and then back home. And that whole thing was about a month. And it's such I recommend it to so many people. It's like we went to a new place every day, which is the most stressful thing in the world, and you wouldn't think it is, but it's like you have to book your hostel and your train and your activities for that day, that morning, and then go through it, get to your hostel, and replan the next day. Like, it's actually so much more stressful than people think, but it was so eye-opening just to see that side of the world.
What was your takeaway from that trip?
Really just because I think it was, I can't pinpoint one thing. I can say that I learned a lot about myself being in new places every day with new people every day. It was like, I don't know, you learn a lot about yourself. For example, I went to Fiji the summer prior to that, and with that trip, I really learned to be happy with what I have, because we would be in these villages and these people have nothing, yet they were trying to give us, you know, gifts and necklaces and stuff made of seashells, and it's like they were giving, yet they had nothing. And it's like we come to America and we have everything, yet we like aren't happy with it, you know. And it was just like really eye-opening, at least for that trip, to kind of just experience that.
Well, I know that you want to go to USC Film School in a few years. What else do you plan on doing in the future? Like, where do you think you'll be taking your career, or where do you want to take your career?
Yeah, you know, I've been acting my whole life since really Dexter, and I'm currently doing it. After my film comes out next month, I have 4 more films I'm going to be shooting later this year. So I'm really busy with that, but I plan on trying to get more into directing and producing, actually, and learning more about the other side of the camera, because there's so much that goes on behind the screen that nobody really sees.
Yes.
You know, and it's always interested me. So, yeah, we'll see what happens.
I'm sure it's going to work out. If you can go to Fuji and to backpack in Europe, you can do this.
I believe too. I believe that too.
Well, listen, Christina, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Do you want to tell your fans where they can follow you on social media or websites? Or?
Yeah, my Instagram is at the Christina Robinson. My Twitter is at the _Christina_R. And then my Facebook is Christina Robinson.
All right. And for more information, you can go to our website, thestephenknightshow.com, and we'll be right back.